The police conference, held in Owerri, titled The Imperative of a Nigeria Police Strategic Plan for Peaceful Elections, has come and gone. But President Muhammadu Buhari's speech continues to resonate.
I command the force leadership and all officers of the force and wish to charge you all to continue to project a force that will remain apolitical, firm, and loyal to our democratic values in the countdown to the 2023 general elections. As I have often observed, elections are local, and it's only when the votes truly count that the faith of the citizens in the democratic process can be demonstrated and government legitimacy assured. This can best be guaranteed through a well-policed election and security operation that is impartial, firm, and professional. This is what, on this day and at this occasion, I charge the Nigerian Police Force to deliver to the nation during the 2023 general elections.
Snippets of the opening ceremony of the 3-day events formed the construct of last week's Crime Fighters episode.
The youths are angry. The youths are enraged. My main advice is whatever the cause of their anger should not lead them to break the law. I urge all viewers to keep watching Crime Fighters, the police and you.
Today, we bring you the concluding parts of the 3-day conference, where issues bordering on electoral violence and the role of the Nigeria Police as the lead security agency were discussed.
Violence in the country as relates to election. And so on the drivers, or what I call sustaining factors of election violence in Nigeria, let's underscore the fact that election is one national event that's intended to renew the journey of a country on a periodic basis in terms of both the personnel and the policies that have been implemented within a period of time. And that is why around the world, people look up to the period of election. And as some of you will have assessed, right now in this country, where we must do everything to this ship of electoral ship, how to get it to a safe harbor is a task that must be done. Because there is anger in the land for different reasons. There's also hunger in the land. The level of anger is so high that we've got to be very careful that all who has a role to play must stand up and do so. This is a moment when people must come and make a choice as to who they want to lead. But as we have come to know, since 1960, in the pre-independent election, regrettably, violence has been a feature of our elections. Why has it been so? Why is it that in other parts of the world, things have changed? In our situation, it will appear the more things change, the more they appear to remain the same with respect to the issue about violence. It is largely because how we see public office in this part of the world. And that is why it is seen as a thing of do or die. Election only provide what they call vertical accountability. It's only a means to an end. It's not an end in itself. And so, every time we are having election, we have problems. INEC has been speaking. The Nigerian police, which is the lead agency, has brought people, all senior police officers, to be here and resource person to come and address key issues. The Electoral Act is a it's in 9 parts. You have a time for registration, you have a time for nomination for candidate, you have a time for campaign, this is where we are now, then the time for election and after election. We hardly talk about judiciary. That's my constituency. We always keep quiet. The first factor is disregard to the rule of law. Where is the place of rule of law in our party democracy? If you look at every year, which is the new election formation year, the law will change. In my next lecture, I'm going to show to you, you will read it yourself, how the lawmaker in 2002 made a law for the use of thugs in Nigeria. In this our country, you see, these are thugs. Now, in Nigeria, we now have what we call Association of Thugs across the country. They do intrastate thuggery services. They also do interstate thuggery services. These thugs, they came with about 9 buses to Akwa Ibom State in 2019. All the buses, all the people you are seeing there, they were released within 24 hours. Even though they gave information as to where they came from, who sponsored them, everything. This is a wrong message to the people. And so, the protection of pool official is so important. The other slide, you will see how buses, 14 buses that were hired for election on the eve of election, all of them were set ablaze. Buses set ablaze. And so, please, this challenge before all of you. We also know that when we ask you, based on my experience, you also have your challenges. One of your challenges is the fact that you need to know even the basic areas of the law, the Electoral Act. It may not be comprehensive. The whole of Part 7, dealing with the offenses, you need to deal with that. Because before the Electoral Act, you already have that general power before, under Section 4, to deal with some of the things that have been catalogued in the Electoral Act.
What is the purpose of electoral violence? I know that electoral violence is used to scare, demoralize, and suppress opposition. Very often, we talk about low turnout. One of the reasons for low turnout is the fact that people are afraid that their lives may not be secure if they will come out for an election. So, electoral violence is actually used to scare, demoralize, and suppress opposition. In Nigeria, there are many acts of violence, electoral violence that have been observed. Those of us will recall that in 1999, especially the 2003-2007 elections, were recorded as having been involved in a lot of violence in the course of campaign. So we had a lot of pre-election violence in 2003, in 2007, and in 2011, we have post-election violence. So violence has been part of Nigerian election since 1963-64 electoral violence in the southwest Nigeria. And up to now, we find a decreasing rate of violence over the time because violence itself can no longer constitute a success or a guaranteed success. The role of security agencies in electoral security. Of course, we've gone over these severally, but more especially safeguarding the security of life and property of those related to elections as well as the infrastructure for elections and also the other stakeholders, the voters as well. Of course, they are also supposed to preserve environment for peaceful conduct of electoral campaign.
Electoral violence planning and execution. You must also evaluate what it is, because the more equipped you are, the more you understand the environment, you'll be able to mitigate. But if you did not do that, and it's when it has started, you are saying, how many vehicles do we have? That's a challenge. You should be able to, have some idea weeks before the election of the probability of electoral violence and what will be required just in case it happens for you to respond
to those situations. Then, of course, you need to build partnership with those who are opposed to electoral violence. Those are your partners you work with. And then, of course, working together in building partnership, you will be able to mitigate or prevent electoral violence. Of course, obviously, the overriding important thing is to maintain constant vigilance and readiness. As elections proceed, things change by hours. Because politicians also are carrying out their own assessments, and their behavior is dictated by those assessments. So you may find at the last minute, oh, they said, oh, we are not making impact in constituency so, and they may bring heavy money there in order to foment trouble or in order to recruit new people. People are crossing, and then that is great tension. So as a conclusion, I think security agencies have responsibility for preventing and controlling electoral violence, and thereby contribute to democratic transition and consolidation in the country. Ability of security agencies to do this, however, is dependent on many factors, among which is implementation of normative, institutional, and legal frameworks that effectively prohibit electoral violence. And then the second thing is adequate equipping. When I mean equipping, I mean the whole range of personnel, material, and other resources. Adequate equipping of security agencies to detect before it happens, or in order to prevent, in order to control, or in order to apprehend, prosecute, and punish electoral violence perpetrators.
This is what I said we have replicated in almost all. But generally speaking, we are going to maybe face a different situation. For now, the elections will be conducted in all the 36 states of the Federation, including Abuja, where there is no governorship election, there will be presidential election. There will be National Assembly election, the Senate and the reps. Then there will be the state governor and the House of Assembly. We might not have the strength of going to do it in one place and leaving any other. So everywhere is hot, everywhere is volatile, and we must make our presence all true. And that is why we started preparing early.
The IGP permitted participants who were of the rank of commissioners of police and above to interrogate the papers delivered by the resource persons.
The trinity of INEC. The trinity is INEC, judiciary, and security. And then after INEC has proposed about 90 something and 48 was accepted, the main player on a lighter note in terms of security is Nigeria Police Force. Why terming it security? Why not direct to the agency that is responsible for providing safety and security, free and fair and accessible elections? Thank you.
In dealing with cases of would-be electoral offenders and actual electoral offenders, my reason is this: the FIB has done marvelously well in its threat analysis, identifying individuals, corporate entities, and communities that have very high potentials for derailing the process, for impacting negatively on the electoral process. Mine is to know from Interpol level of preparedness of Interpol in making use of the analysis that have been made available by the FIB in dealing with the categories of people I've said will be offenders, electoral offenders, and actual electoral offenders. Thank you very much, sir.
The Inspector General of Police also presented a communique reached after the interactive sessions.
The participants made exhaustive contributions to the presentation during the lecture and discussion sessions. The following were agreed upon by the participants and are hereby declared as the communique of the third conference and the retreat for senior police officers. The conference and the retreat was encouraged by the commitment of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to support security agencies and the critical stakeholders to ensure peaceful, free, fair, transparent, and credible elections in 2023. The conference and retreat further stressed that politicians should avoid engaging talks and non-state actors during elections, but to concentrate on policing their communities. Observe that election operationalizes the constitutional guarantee that sovereignty belongs to the people, from whom government derives its power, and therefore appeal to the citizens to eschew any behavior that undermines peaceful, free, fair, and credible elections in the country. The primacy of the Nigeria Police Force as the lead agency in securing the nation's electoral process and, of course, the entire internal security was recognized and reaffirmed by the conference and the retreat without undermining the critical support expected from all other security agencies in Nigeria. The conference and retreat about that the chairman of INEC needs to work concertedly with the Inspector General of Police in ensuring that democratic governance is maintained and delivered to the Nigerian populace. The federal government of Nigeria is encouraged to continue to support and equip the Nigeria Police towards enhanced operational capability for effective performance. The federal government and the Independent National Electoral Commission should ensure operational logistics are planned and provided concurrently for the Nigeria Police Force, given its critical role in electioneering process. The timelines of the disbursement should also be ensured. The force should step up its efforts towards preventing and controlling threats to free, fair, and credible election, using the continuous intelligence product from the Force Intelligence Bureau and other members of the intelligence community in Nigeria. Police should ensure that political campaigns by various political parties are streamlined in order to avoid clashes and likely breakdown of law and order. Police strategic managers are to liaise with political parties and candidates towards ensuring that they commit themselves to peaceful, free, fair, transparent, and credible election process. Just like what we did, the signing of the peace agreement, and later there will also be another signing of such fact at the federal level. So you should also emulate same in your state by organizing such peaceful undertaking.
Very important session. We've exchanged ideas with the Interpol team. We've exchanged ideas with the police cyber security team. All of them gearing up and very well equipped to confront the challenges. The new battle space for elections is cyber warfare. And as INEC goes digital, we have an accreditation process that is critical and digital. But the voting and counting process is still manual. The transmission process we identify is digital. So far, so good. I think this IG has done an amazing work in defining the key strategic goals and direction for the police force. This conference, preceding perhaps our most crucial election in 2 decades, is also very important to streamline and fertilize ideas, and then of course come up with core solutions.
The president's statement is a confirmation and affirmation of the successes recorded by the Nigerian police under the leadership of the IGP Usman Alkali Baba. We discussed about the tools and services of the Interpol for the 2023 general election. And you see, this is an act at the moment when the society is looking for the best way in which they can have confidence on the police. How will police fare in the 2023 election? With the security challenges, we are able to make contribution and then make sure that we have a free, fair and credible election.
You know, criminality builds up, is going dynamic, so the police and security institutions should equally always familiarize themselves with the current happenings, and they should not be behind board. So this is a build-up on the second retreat, which is better to make us know and be aware of current and new trends of criminality and election malpractices. So it's a good thing that it has come up at Owerri and it's well attended. The whole thing is so educative. So the public should expect the best of security in terms of election security and operations. So we are all gearing up for the best, and the best will surely come.
This retreat has provided more formidable impetus for the senior cadre of the police to be well acquainted with trending situation and the technicalities and the professional element required for us to deliver the mandate has been encapsulated in this retreat.
The intention of the IGP was to gather senior officers, strategic commanders to understudy election security management styles and skills, to be familiar with Electoral Act 2022, to be familiar with police code of conduct for election security management. And all these things were actually dissected, and officers were taken through some of these modules we have designed by our resource persons to lecture our officers on how to have better election security management in the country so that we can have free, fair, credible elections come 2023.
As it is said, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. To end the conference in grand style, the Inspector General of Police organized the gala night for the officers to unwind, feel relaxed, and rub shoulders with him. Meritorious awards were also given to individuals who have helped in tackling the menace of insecurity.
To the IGP to make a presentation. On behalf of Nigeria Police, please present that to His Excellency. Thank you very much. Please a round of applause. Thank you. All right, the next. Ladies and gentlemen,
keep watching Crime Fighters, the police and you.
Flora Mahimi, reporting from Owerri, the capital of Imo State.